All right, we finally made it to the end of the poem, kind of. We're almost there. Um, so, you know, the mower venerates the existence by sparing the flowers. And then the speaker says, because of the speaker's witnessing of this, understanding the act of veneration of the sacredness of what the mower does, the speaker says, um, the butterfly and I had lit upon, nevertheless, a message from the dawn that made me hear the wakening birds around and hear his long scythe whispering to the ground, and feel a spirit kindred to my own, so that henceforth I work no more alone. But glad with him I worked as with his aid, and weary sought at noon with him the shade, and dreaming as it were held brotherly speech with one whose thought I had not hoped to reach. Men work together, I told him from the heart, whether they work together or apart. So what happens at the end of the poem is interesting, because there's this kind of switch that takes place. All right? The mower is focusing on the glory of the new day, this alterity, the world, this affirmation of the world. And the speaker sees that and, has this great admiration for that act. But then the speaker doesn't really focus so much on the sunrise or this, the thing being venerated, which is the new day. At the end, the speaker his whole focus kind of turns onto the mower. Like, in other words, the mower has this admiration for the new day, this affirmation, this like profound kind of yes for existence, right? That's what the mower does. And the speaker sees that as like profoundly, worthy of admiration. And the speaker's focus moves from the day itself as being venerated. He moves towards a focus on the mower. He sees the greatness in the mower. His focus changes from the thing being loved to the lover. See, he moves from the thing being loved to the lover himself, which is the mower. Let's say. So let me put that on the board so you make that clear. Okay, so this is what we're saying. We got our buddy the mower. And then we have the new day. The new day that's being venerated. Sunrise. Now, what I talked about in the last discussion was how this new day, the sunrise, we were calling that an alterity. Alterity, meaning an otherness of the world. The otherness of the world. Now, by the mower sparing the flowers, he's having this profound kind of yes to this new day. He's saying, yes, it's glorious, right? It's this great yes to the new day, to the alterity of the otherness of the world. He's like saying this is glorious, right? What's glorious? Just existence. Existence itself is glorious, see? This is what's so wonderful about the poem. Existence itself is glorious. All right? So this is I hope you guys have seen here, that what the mower does is he makes this kind of affirmation that involves everything about everything. I mean, there's nothing left out. All of existence itself is being celebrated in this act that he does. He's saying yes to everything about everything. All right, and it's all inclusive. An all-inclusive affirmation. An all-inclusive affirmation of existence itself. All right? It's a profound act of hope. Okay. Now, what we said in the last class was that when a person has a relationship to alterity that he affirms, that he says yes to, we call that the act of passion. Okay? Passion towards the alterity. And that's what this guy does by sparing the flowers. He shows this passion. The world of passion towards alterity is also referred to in philosophy as a self-donation. So the mower is giving himself over towards the glory and goodness of existence in the act of sparing the flowers, okay? It's a radical act of self-donation, of giving himself, giving himself over passionately to the otherness. Giving himself over. All right? Okay, so since the mower is making this great affirmation about life itself, existence itself, the way the speaker responds, that he says, okay, well, your affirmation of life made me hear the awakening birds around. So now the glory of existence is present to the speaker because of what the mower does, okay? So now the new day, the alterity, the otherness, that the mower is present to its greatness, right? He's present to it. Well, now, because of what the mower does, now the speaker is also present to the glory of existence, because he says, because of what the mower does, made me hear the awakening birds around. So now he hears the birds that he didn't hear before because he was just too busy working. So now he's open to the glory of existence, okay? Because he hears the birds now. He hears the birds, that the awakening birds, the morning, the birds in the morning, they all chirping and everything. He hears the birds that before he wasn't really attentive to, okay? So now he's opened, the mower opens him to the glory of the world too. Mower opens the speaker. Mower opens the speaker. So I want to tell you, there's this old Beatles song that actually the Beatles didn't write it, but it was a cover they did. But it was one of their first songs that they, back in the day when the Beatles first came out. And the song is called Till There Was You. That's the name of the song. Till There Was You. Okay, so in the song, there's this line. It goes something like this. It says, there were birds on a hill, and I never heard them singing, never heard them at all till there was you. Okay, so there are birds on a hill. There were birds on a hill, and I never heard them singing. Never heard them at all till there was you. All right. All right. There were birds on a hill, but I never heard them singing. Never heard them at all till there was you. Okay, so, all right. So this guy is saying, that there are these birds, always singing on the hill, but I didn't hear them until I fell in love with you. Okay, so, but once I fell in love, once I was in the state of love, then I heard the birds, see, because I'm in love. So the idea is that, okay, the birds were always singing. They were always there singing. He just wasn't attentive to them because he was just all lost in his own world of, work and drudgery and, not the world of being in love. But once he's in love, okay, once he's in love with the woman, now he hears the singing of the birds, right? In other words, now he becomes open to the glory of the alterity of the world, see? All right? Now he's open because he's in love, see? He's in love, so he's open. He's open to what? To, see, the new day, the alterity, the otherness of the world. Now it's just all exploding because he's in love. The way existence is exploding with goodness. Existence. Exploding. Existence exploding with goodness. Why? Because he's in love. Okay. Now, this poem's a little different because it's not that the mower falls in love with somebody and then says existence is glorious. The mower is already in love. He's in love with existence itself. Okay? He's a lover. The mower is a man of passion. He's a lover of life. Now, what happens at the end of the poem is real interesting because the speaker switches from the glory of the new day. The speaker switches from this alterity, and what the speaker does is he starts to focus on, bam, the mower. See, the speaker now, his focus is on kind of like the greatness of the mower for being a lover. Okay, so the focus is now going to turn towards the greatness of the mower in his act of passion. See, he has a greatness because of his passion. The mower has a greatness because of his passion. And so now the speaker starts talking at the end of the poem about his relationship to this guy because of this guy's relationship to the world, see? All right? But the focus is going to, instead of the speaker and the mower both focusing like that on the glory of the new day, the speaker is now going to focus on kind of like the gloriness of the mower himself, okay? All right, let's take a big pause on that. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on at the end of the poem, which is really pretty interesting. Now, you guys know, you guys are familiar with the whole thing about in sports, how we like to talk about who's the GOAT, you know, who was the greatest of all time. You know, we do it all the time, you know. Is Tom Brady the GOAT? You know, is he the greatest quarterback of all time? Is it Michael Jordan or LeBron? You know, who's the greatest of all time? Who's the greatest, you know, baseball player of all time? Was it Babe Ruth? You know, who's the greatest hockey player of all time? Who's the GOAT? You know, Wayne Gretzky. You know, who is Tiger Woods the greatest golfer of all time? You know, or was it Jack Nicholson? Or Jack Nicklaus. So this whole idea of the GOAT, okay, the GOAT. Greatest of all time, right? Now, look at what's going on with this discussion about the GOAT, the greatest of all time. All right, so you got the person. Let's say it's Tom Brady. All right? You got Tom Brady and you got, you know, quarterbacking. You know, being a passer, being a quarterbackness, all right? Quarterbackness. Now, the reason I'm setting it up like that is because what is Tom Brady great at? He's great at being a quarterback, okay? This is the alterity. This is the alterity that he's great at, being a quarterback. You know, it's not that he's a great writer or a great poet or, you know, a great engineer or something or lawyer. He's a great quarterback. That's the alterity. That's the thing he's great at, right? Now, the otherness of the world. And his relationship, one of the things that when we talk about these guys that are GOATs, you know, the greatest of all time, the reason that they're so good, of course, is because of this passion they have. Their passion towards the alterity. And because they have this love and passion, there's this self-donation. They just keep giving themselves over to this thing to become better and better and better, right? It's a self-donation. All right. But what's interesting is, as spectators, you know, as people on the outside looking, you know, we're on the outside looking in. What we do is we're not. See, look, Tom Brady's whole focus is boom. See, his whole focus is on what it means to do to be a great quarterback. You know, accuracy, you know, arm strength, conditioning, footwork, you know, all those things, you know, the mechanics of the throw, you know, dropping back and all that stuff is what he's focused on, what he wants to be great at, see? But you and I, we're out here, and what we do is we start focusing in on him and say, is he the GOAT? See, we start focusing in on his greatness, not so much what he's doing, but the fact that he's great. See, we focus on his greatness as the lover. See. Now, this is what happens in the poem. See, in the poem, the speaker starts to focus on the mower, not directly on what the mower is directly what the mower has affirmed, okay, but the speaker starts to focus in on the mower himself, just like we do when we talk about who's the GOAT. See, we start focusing in on the person rather than what the person does. All right. We focus on the person instead of what the person does. Now, here's another interesting thing about that. A lot of times when these sports people are like interviewing these athletes, like they're interviewing Tom Brady, and they're like, so Tom, what do you think about the fact that you have like 567 TD passes? You have more touchdown passes than anyone in the history of the game. You're fighting Drew Brees here. Like every game, it's you and Drew Brees. And Tom says, I don't care about that. I just want to win. His whole focus is bam. I don't care about the accolades of what I've done. It's not about me. Tom says, well, not about me. Okay? Tom's saying it's not about me. It's about the alterity. See? It's his whole focus is like the greatness of alterity itself. How beautiful a touchdown pass is. I just want to win. See? Not about me. But see, what's really interesting is when there are people that are so focused on alterity like that, they're so like passionately giving themselves over to the world in some kind of glorious way, we can't help but love them for doing that, because that's so honorable. See, we feel this great sense of dignity towards them because what they're doing is so honorable. So the fact that he says it's not about me makes him even more lovable. All right? Makes him more lovable. His surrender to alterity, his constant giving of himself to the game, to the art of quarterbacking. See, this art, his constant self-donation. That's the word art up there. I hope you can see it. Hold on. Okay, art. That makes him even more admirable to us, So, the Hall of Fame is a way of acknowledging the greatness of the person because of their passion towards the alterity. All right, so look at what happens. Here's the switch I'm talking about. He says, because of what the mower does, that made me hear the awakening birds around. Okay, so he's also now open to existence. But then he says this, and hear his long scythe whispering to the ground. So see, now the speaker's like, his focus isn't on the world, but it's on his relationship to the mower. See, the focus turns to his relationship. See, that's the difference. See, you got the mower. You got the mower to the world, right? To the alterity. You got this passionate act there. But then the speaker, because of that, the speaker now focuses in on his relationship to this guy, because this guy is such an honorable dude. See? So now the whole end of the poem is on this relationship. It's on this relationship because this is so wonderful. See, he has this great feeling of companionship here. All right. Companionship because of what this guy's value is here. See, he knows it's a kindred spirit. All right. So because of the mower's relationship to the world is one of is honorable self-donation. Now the speaker has this sense of companionship there. See, and the end of the whole end of the poem is about that relationship right there. Notice what he says. And once I realized what this guy was all about, I hear his long life whispering to the ground. Okay, and feel a spirit kindred to my own, so that henceforth I work no more alone. See, boom, there's the relationship. But glad with him I worked as with his aid, and weary sought at noon with him the shade. Boom, it's all relational. And dreaming, as it were, held brotherly speech with one whose thought I had not hoped to reach. Men work together, I told him from the heart, whether they work together or apart. So the whole ending of the poem is about this relationship because of what the mower does here. All right? And that's basically the last thing we got to talk about is what exactly is the relationship. And then that's the end of the poem. All right. Thank you.